What are you doing in the control room?
I'm hovering as usual. I'm taking a break from making tea, which, as you know, Rob, is what I spend most of my time doing when I'm not cooking fine exotic dishes for our guests. But I thought I'd come down today. We've been here over a year now.
Yeah, well.
And try and explain to people who are maybe thinking of coming to Highbury just how it works, because clearly I don't know, but you've got a good idea.
Well, I've got some ideas. It's a recording studio. We have a fantastic live room through there, which you should get a shot of maybe.
Now don't start directing, you're a studio engineer.
Okay, well the live room I think is the centre of the studio.
Yes.
It's the most important part. We have a lot of bands come in here who play live, and that's how I like to record.
Yes.
As live as possible with as few overdubs, and capture the performance. What I do is just capture the performance that's going on in that room.
Right. And that's what it's the capturing that goes on in here.
Yes, in here in the control room, yes. Basically we have microphones in there, which we mic everything up, and it feeds through to this beautiful old TIAC desk, number 16 I think it is, late 1970s, early 80s, and that's all routed through to our wonderful 1-inch tape multi-track machine.
A
lovely
rare
analogue,
beastie.
beautiful sound.
And what's all this?
These are the sort of extras that we use to create extra sounds. There's the Pi compressors here, which again are very old, beautiful compressors. This Chorus Echo, which Bob left us, which may have been used on the UB40 recordings he did, I believe.
Yeah.
Very old tape machine, which is temperamental, but when it works it sounds gorgeous, really wonderful. And more reverbs, and this ancient patch bay, which I have to use to get everything routed from in there, through the desk, through the machine, and then back through the desk so we can listen to it.
When I was a hotel porter in Newquay in 1968, there was a switchboard that looked just like this, so I'd have to answer the phone and move these things around.
Well, that's exactly what it does. That's exactly what it does. It's routing sounds from in there to the desk, to the multi-track machine, or to these effects or the compressors, and it's just I mean, you can see comps on here. That's the compressors. So this patch bay goes through the back of there and straight up into these boxes here, and then back through the outs. And it's similar with every single hole really. It routes it somewhere, either to the desk or to the effects unit.
Okay.
All very old school stuff, but lovely to work with. This is the only modern piece of equipment we have, which is the laptop, because it ends up in digital, as you know, John.
Which is something we are addressing as time goes by.
Indeed.
But tell us about channels, because the desk has 24
4 channels.
But the recorder has 16.
Indeed.
So what happens to the other 8?
Sorry. It's okay. You've got me there, John.
Where do they go, Rob?
You've got me there, mate. I think seriously the answer is, when Bob bought this desk, he bought a 24x8 because I think he started recording with an 8-channel half-inch.
He was a cautious fellow.
So basically you have 24 channels coming in,
Yep.
which can be routed from anywhere in the studio. They can be drums, bass, guitars, whatever you want to bring in. And then what you do is you route them using these buttons here to one of 8 channels.
Right.
And these are subgroups. These 8 channels go off to the multi-track machine.
Right.
So say you have like several drums, like bass drum, snare drum, toms, all coming in, and you haven't got 8 channels to put them all on because of all the other instruments that come in. You may route them to just 2 channels and basically have a stereo mix of the drums.
So it's almost like branches on a tree, where they sort of come together into lots of little branches come into a big branch.
Yeah, sort of.
And then your big branch goes into there.
Yeah. So normally it would be 8 channels, so you'd record on 8 different channels, which means you could mix it all later.
Yeah.
But Bob then upgraded, I think, to the 16-channel 1-inch, but still only had the 8 subs.
Yeah.
So we'd only use 8 of the channels, and what happens is they all double up. So channel 1 on here will go to channel 1 and 9, and then 2 and 10. So you have backups of everything. Basically, if you're recording on 8 channels here, you have backups of everything on the other 8 channels.
Right.
But then when we overdub, we just record on those other channels that we haven't used. So that's how we get up to 16 channels. So theoretically, when you're recording a live band in there, using the desk and the subgroups of only 8, you can only actually record 8 channels live. However, through a bit of deviousness, I've managed to run cables down the corridor.
Yes.
If you plug directly into the patch bay which connects to this machine,
that's another telecom thing like this.
Direct into these channels, and bypass the subgroups. So by using cables, theoretically we could have 8 cables running down the corridor. If I can connect that to 8 instruments in there, I can record another 8 channels live. So I can, despite it only being a subgroup 8 desk, record 16 channels live. I've never done it, mind. I've got up to probably 12.
Was that with Gurdon Thomas?
No, the Gurdon Thomas thing was, I pretty much did it on 8 channels. It was very,
because there were a lot of them.
Yeah.
Lovely people.
I mean, you can only do this. You can only do this sort of thing with direct lines. So things like keyboards, synthesizers, stuff like that. And he didn't have that many. I think I did the piano because Gurdon played live piano. So I'd do the piano would be directed in there. So I probably did do 11 channels live with Gurdon, probably. But that was a lot of people live. But we've had lots of big bands in here doing live. Gurdon Thomas, Alternative Dubstep Orchestra.
The Paradigms?
The Paradigms, and they've all done it fairly live, Even the vocals. Gurdon did all his vocals live.
And we had a choir, didn't we?
We did. That was an overdub band, John. And I basically used 4 mics on the whole room, got the choir, and then mixed it to 2 channels in stereo. That's where I was using the subgroups there, you see. 4 into 2.
I get the hang of this now. I don't think I'll ever be an engineer, though. I think I'll stick with the cooking.